well, and then that way he might be able to give us some feedback if he can watch this a little later on.
Yeah, it's live now, so we should be good to go.
Cool.
So right now it's loading. I've got 3 of them going, so it'll probably be a little bit. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
All right.
So the first one is volatility difference, fishback option value, and then volatility ratio. I think this was volatility ratio the main one, Drew?
No, volatility difference was the main one.
So this first one. Yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't take that much longer. I did run. There are 3 going at the same time, so that doesn't help. But
It's all right. I saw you all. I think you all must have been testing a little bit earlier on, because I saw some errors coming up, and I was like, oh, somebody must be on this thing. But I'm guessing with you all. I know the other 2 groups are working on stuff too, but I think the group number 1 I think is almost done with what they were doing, and group number 3 is pretty close, but we didn't hear from them for so long, so it was just surprising.
is 3 the break even?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they actually, it's actually really close. They have 1 bug that they're trying to sort out, but they're pretty close to being done. So it's like all of you all are finished almost with the stuff, but just it was a little bit nerve-wracking there for a minute, because I was thinking maybe that 3rd group wasn't going to finish.
Yeah. There we go.
We're giving our presentation on. Oh, here.
What's the thing I should search for?
Wow.
There we go.
The average. Yep.
Let me. Okay, so this is the average array. So this has all the averages.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So for each month, that we sort it, and then we go through it and we divide it into the deciles. And for each decile, there's of course performance, which is calculated how you instructed us to calculate it, and then whatever that other this is volatility difference, but it can be changed to another variable that you'd want to sort it by. So right now, this is sorted by volatility difference. So if you want to copy and paste it, Clint, into something that's easier to read. Just give Clint 1 second to take care of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just formatting stuff. It's not bad at all. Anyhow, okay.
So basically, as you can see, it's sorted by volatility difference, and then for each decile, it has that computes the average volatility difference and the performance of that decile, the average performance of that decile.
Okay, and the way that you're getting the performance is the price that you pay when you go into the trade minus the value at the end, or are you taking the value at the end of the trade, which should be the case, and minusing the price that you paid when you entered the trade?
Let's go into it and look real quick.
I just want to make sure, because it's real easy to have some that looks like, wow, they all look great, and then find out really that they're all losing trades. So
give me 1 second to pull it up, and then I will screen share. And
I got it up here.
You have it up at the right spot as well. All right, so let's see. Let's look at performance.
think 232 here, Drew.
233. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the performance is
The expiration date close minus the strike value over the straddle.
okay, and straddle is what?
Straddle is no.
No, it's right here. It's this pre-fill table. No, sorry, that's the old stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's getting row straddle. So go back up into your query. It's probably higher up. Still higher.
Oh, you know what?
I have a feeling that that's wrong.
Yeah, I think it is too.
What I think straddle is probably my thought is straddle is
Oh, that's not even. This is all commented out. Sorry.
oh, okay. I was like
I'm gonna delete
that's absolutely wrong. But,
Okay.
so go down to the next performance.
Just delete the stuff that's commented out to make it
Are
easier.
you all using VI?
Yes.
You can get out of insert mode and press DD, which removes the whole line.
Looky there.
Just for any VI shortcuts I can help you with.
This is the performance.
Okay.
Line 239.
Line 239. Okay, so
So where are we getting straddle at?
no, straddle's not
It's
there,
gone from that.
and that's good. But you still have a problem. The EXP date close, is that the sum of the bids at the closing date?
That's
Or
the closing price at
the
the.
closing price. Okay, that's good. Then why are you subtracting the strike value?
So we shouldn't be subtracting the strike value?
No, I think you should be subtracting the, see right here, the return for the straddles
Strike price.
is the strike price.
And that's
Right.
what this is.
So, yes. Is that incorrect? Should it not?
I think it's supposed to be the is it strike, so I'm just wanting to make sure, where's strike value set at?
It'd be up here. Strike value. Yeah, it's the value of the lower strike or the upper strike, depending upon which one we choose. So it's up here.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
When we were I was just making sure that that's not the value of like the fishback value.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. No. Okay, so that looks correct then. All right.
Performance looks good.
Yes, performance looks correct.
All right. And
So
then,
that's what the one question we had. Cleaning this data up. So if there are trades or options or whatever the terminology is that don't have valid data, we want to remove them. And I was curious which values we should look at if they don't return anything. Should it be if any value comes back null, like remove that from calculation, or is it just a specific thing? Because, for instance, the script that gets the volatility ratios, that script can return valid data for certain equity IDs and option IDs, but when we run queries based on that option ID, we don't get data back. So I was curious if,
a lot of times you'll have a volatility difference. For example, you might have a merger acquisition or a takeover, and when it does the volatility difference, it sees a huge difference or something like that with the inside of the actual stock. But then when you try to look at options for that, they're so illiquid that we can't find a trade. So if you do not get back options for it, you should throw them out.
Okay. So like on line 277 till 285, I did like a little sample thing here to show like how we would clean it out. So yeah.
That looks pretty correct. And I'm from what I understand, you all are your strike values. I'm guessing that's some value. I don't know where you're getting that from, but
some values is from the option value table.
Yes.
This query here, line 225.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go off of that one.
Okay. So my question is, what should be the deciding factor for?
Yeah.
Like, what should we replace some values with? Is basically right, Clint? Is what you're asking?
Yeah.
What I would replace it with would be the sum of the ask.
Okay.
Is there anything else that would?
No, that should do it.
You can change that right now, right, Clint? Like that's nothing for you to go in and change that.
Yeah, I mean,
like you just replace there.
Values with ask, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I just need to move that up.
Okay, and then besides that, that looks pretty good. It's just so it looks like it outputs valid data. It looks like you're all just doing a printf for the output.
Yes.
Are you all going to format that any other way?
We can throw it in a CSV, like print it out to a file. That was one question we had. So this is like the raw output, all of this stuff up here.
Yeah.
For 1 month. So this is like all of the data for the 1 month run. And then we're going to have the calculations, the averages for that month.
Basically the deciles for that particular month.
Right. So
do we want a separate file for the averages, or do we just want to like lump everything together?
What would be ideal is that if we could get a listing of all the trades in one file, and then a listing of maybe going across from 1 to 10 for the deciles, and then make a new row on each month year. So it'd be like January of 2014, you have decile 1 through 10, and then go down a row and then do the same thing for February, and so on. And then that way, because if you do something like that, so like in a CSV, it's perfect because you would just delimit the decile, decile 1 through 10, and then the first field being the date. And then that would be great. And then just one file with all the trades in it, and then that way we can validate it.
Okay. We can do that, right, Clint?
Yes.
So.
And then other than that, I mean, that's actually when we can see that data, and Don can go through and make sure it's what he wants.
Okay.
And then after that, I mean, that's a pretty good point to be at, because anything other than that, we can actually turn into, a chart, or we can, as long as we get the data out of it, we can format it however. We can put it in a table, a chart, various different types of charts, output it for Excel, things like that. It's just, I don't know what application he actually wants to use this in. If it's going to be on a customer-facing side, it'll probably be formatted to where it's not just a raw data dump. But yes, for him, he'll want all that.
So we're the way that we have it structured is correct. Like for each month, it should return 10 deciles, right? Is that
That is correct.
okay? Because there was some question when we were working on it before if that was correct, and that's how I understood it. But there was some
I'm
question.
not sure, but
No, that is right.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay.
so Drew, can you check how you were explaining to us what you thought the correlation between the volatility difference and the performance should be? Make sure
Okay,
that's correct.
sure, I can explain that. As I understood it, the smaller volatility difference is supposed to have the higher performance. Is that the correlation? Like, what is the correlation supposed to be between like the volatility difference or the fishback uh, option or whatever the sort criteria is and the performance, or is there supposed to be any correlation?
Well, that's why we wanted this built, is that we can actually replace those filters with other things to
Okay.
find out if there is any kind of correlation. What Don would do a lot of times is he would take all those deciles,
Okay.
so you would output, let's see, whatever that would be. There's going to be 12 deciles, and if you did it from like 2005 to current, you have 10 years times 12, so that you have 120 different groups of deciles.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have 10 deciles each, so you basically we're looking at about 1,200 data points. And if you think of it that way, what he would do is in each decile 1, he would average all of those together and then plot those on like a scatter plot chart.
Okay.
He would do whatever it is. It's like the R square. I forget the whole thing, but it's actually to find out if there is actually correlation. And he should see if there is, they should run along a line. And if there's no correlation, they'll be all over the place. But if there's really tight groupings going down the correlation chart, then we can tell that there's some value in whatever back test that we do. And then we can take that back test and modify it some and actually get kind of a trade result of if we made a trading system off of it. So this will actually enable us to create additional services by finding out if any of these various factors we have provides any value to coming up with winning option trades.
Got it. So, but we shouldn't feel like there's something inherently incorrect if we don't see a correlation over, like, if we run it over a few months. We shouldn't. But we
Not
should.
at all. And I will say this. I've been here for almost 10 years. Don's been doing this for nearly 30 years. And just to tell you, like, over the last maybe 5 years, we've looked at different programs a lot. And I think we've come up with maybe 4. So it takes a lot of time, and a lot of times there's no usable data.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because we ran it over 2 months and we didn't see a strong correlation between
But
volatility.
we didn't have all the bad data out of there.
True, we didn't have all the bad data out there either. But you're saying even if we do get the bad data out and there's not a strong correlation, that's okay. I think he's on mute.
We got 3 things I'm working on.
Yeah, Don just popped in here for a second, and he said that he's got a couple things he has to work on, but if you all could get that in the CSV, then he can validate it over the weekend, and then he can let you all know if it's the right data or not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay? But he's got a bunch of other stuff that has like a deadline of today, so
Okay.
he's going to probably not join us.
3 projects.
3 different things with a deadline of today.
All right.
All right, so
I've
Other
just
than that,
implemented the clean data thing, so once that finishes,
okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, and then I mean, it sounds like then after that it's just getting the output formatted a little bit better, and then I mean it looks correct right now, but it's probably just if there's any problems, it's probably just like a little bug or something like that. Maybe the variable names is what I find a lot of times provides problems for people is because you have so many different parts, and like right away I see you all have strike value, and to me that would be the value of the strikes, not the actual strike itself. So
Okay.
we would usually say like call strike, put strike, straddle strike, or like just a strike. But if we did strike value, that would be like that. And if I did like similarly, if I did strike ask or strike bid, then I would be thinking that it would be pricing on that. So it's really important you just make sure your variable easily deciphered. Are we having problems?
I think, yeah, I didn't do this right.
Uh-oh.
We did a lot of stuff yesterday, and I didn't. So it's.
Everything okay, Clint?
Yeah, it's just I was trying to implement the little for loop that cleans everything up, but
Okay. Well, we'll implement that and put it into a CSV
yeah,
file.
we can do that really easy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so yeah, so as long as we get that into a CSV file, then do you think that we've met the requirements that you desired?
Yeah, it looks really close. I mean, I can't think of anything beyond. I think when we were originally talking, we were thinking that it might progress into locking it down to where it would be a user accessible functionality, but I think at the same time it does a lot, so it's hard to kind of know how much progress you're going to make over a certain amount of time. But I think that as far as the back testing component of it goes, I think you all have done great so far.
All right. So we'll get that into a CSV file and then send that out to you, and you can verify that it's what it needs to be. And then we give our presentation on Monday. So.
Oh, okay. Are you all doing a presentation to your class first, and then?
Yes.
There's
yes.
gonna be like a one-on-one between you, our professor, and us when we like give you the documentation and all that. And then there's the like formal presentation in the auditorium. The presentation in the auditorium is on Monday.
Oh, okay. So you all are doing. I thought that was going to be on the 1st.
That's the 27th, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
The 1st is the Friday. I don't know.
Everybody else in our group, you all have 3 groups.
Right.
Other 2 groups are presenting on the 1st. We're presenting on the 27th.
Okay, so you all will be in the auditorium on the 27th?
Yes.
Do you know the time?
At 1:30, rather.
1:30? Okay. All right. Yeah, Mondays are pretty hard for us, but I'll let Don know, and maybe we can get down there. Other than that, I think you asked me about meeting with Professor P. And to do the handover or whatever, and I think that's the one-on-one presentation you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I said Tuesday. Is that going to work, or is there a scheduling conflict?
Does that work for you, Tuesday? Yeah, I think that'll work.
Tuesday? Okay, just let us know what time.
Okay.
All right. And then other than that, I think you all are nearly there.
Yep. All right, Drew, did you have anything else?
No, I didn't have anything else.
Okay, Zay.
All right.
All right, I think that's it.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Yep, see ya.
All right.
Yeah.
See you.